So here we are, day 18 of using my AI chat history as a mirror. And yesterday, I thought I'd finally cracked it. I thought I'd fixed a major personal flaw. Turns out I was wrong, and my own data is what proved it. We're going to look at what happens when you think you solved one problem, but all you've really done is create a brand new one. This is the line that just kept echoing in my head after I looked at my AI chat logs. It wasn't that I failed to stop the pattern. No, I actually successfully relocated it. The problem didn't vanish. It just packed its bags and moved to a new address in my brain. All right, so to really get this, we need a little context. The battle on day 17, the day before, was all about stopping one very specific behavior, running to the AI for validation. I mean, I was consciously, almost painfully, stopping myself from typing those little questions like, is this okay? Or, hey, is this a good idea? And let me tell you, it felt like a huge effort of self-control. And you know what? For 7 hours and 36 minutes, I actually won. I did it, and it felt amazing. It felt like I had this concrete proof of my willpower, like I'd finally wrestled this thing to the ground. The problem, though, wasn't what happened during those 7.5 hours. It's what happened right after. Because you see, while I was patting myself on the back, celebrating this big internal win, my AI chat log, that completely objective mirror, it was recording a totally different story. It was capturing the exact moment my so-called victory turned out to be just an illusion. And the evidence, it wasn't a feeling, it wasn't some fuzzy memory, it was just right there, in plain text with timestamps. The thing about the chat log is, it doesn't care about my good intentions. It doesn't care how hard I tried. It just records what I do. And my actions revealed this really clever unconscious swap that I had made. And look at this. It's so precise. At 6:47 in the morning, I ask my very last validation-seeking question. Then, radio silence on that front for 7 hours and 36 minutes. But then, at 2:23 in the afternoon, bam, a completely new kind of question pops up. The substitution, the swap, is captured right there with digital precision. So, what did this new behavior actually look like? Well, it started with something like this. A question that, on the surface, seems totally productive, right? What are all the considerations? I mean, that sounds like someone doing their due diligence. But what it really is, it's a brilliant tactic to just delay making an actual decision. And then, of course, it kept going. I started digging deeper and deeper down this information rabbit hole. Tell me more about the implications. This is that classic trap where you start confusing the feeling of being busy with the reality of making progress. By the time I'm asking this third question, the new pattern is totally locked in. I had successfully stopped asking the AI for its approval, and instead I started asking it for endless analysis. I hadn't solved anything. I just swapped one avoidance tactic for another one. So this is what I'm calling it, the swap. It's this incredibly clever trick our mind plays, summing out one bad habit for another one that looks different but isn't. It happens especially when you're tired, when your guard is down. You ever done that? Like you quit one bad habit only to find yourself picking up a new one almost immediately? Yeah, that's the swap. And there's a real psychological term for this. It's called pattern substitution. Basically, it's when your brain, especially when it's low on energy, replaces one behavior with another one that achieves the exact same hitting purpose. For me, both habits were expertly designed to help me avoid one thing, the discomfort of making a call on my own. And this is the absolute key to understanding it. This idea of functional equivalence. On the surface, the behaviors look totally different. Asking, is this okay, seems kind of needy. Asking, tell me more about, seems diligent, right? But look underneath at the function. They are both perfectly designed to do one single thing. Postpone the judgment call. Postpone the discomfort of trusting myself. And you can see how this thing builds into this predictable loop. First, you use all your energy to block the old habit. That constant effort depletes your mental resources. It just drains the tank. But, and this is the important part, the underlying need for relief from whatever discomfort you were avoiding is still there. It persists. And so, what happens? Your tired brain activates an alternative, an easier path to get that same relief. It's like psychological whack-a-mole. You push it down here and it pops right back up over there. So why are our brains so ridiculously good at this? Well, it turns out this isn't random at all. It's actually driven by some pretty well-established psychological principles. There's a hidden logic to why the swap is such a common and, let's face it, very human experience. Yeah, there's some real science backing this up. First, you've got a concept called ego depletion. Just think of your self control like a muscle. After I spent over 7 hours flexing that muscle to stop myself from asking for validation, it was just exhausted. So when a new temptation came along, that juicy research spiral, I had no strength left to resist it. Then there's something called the two-factor theory, which basically says that avoidance feels good because it removes anxiety, even for a moment. So our brain learns to love it and gets really creative about finding new ways to do it. And finally, this idea of functional equivalence. It just means your brain doesn't really care how it gets relief, just that it does. It will always find the path of least resistance. Now, you might be thinking, okay, but swapping a needy pattern for a diligent looking one, that's not so bad, is it? But the real cost here is huge. It is not a lateral move. It's actively making things worse. You're not just avoiding a decision in the moment, you are literally practicing incompetence. Our brains have this amazing quality called neuroplasticity. It's that whole use it or lose it idea. And every single time I do the swap, I am strengthening the part of my brain that relies on outside input. And at the same time, I am weakening the circuits for autonomous judgment. I am actively training my brain to be less capable of trusting itself. That's the dark side of neuroplasticity. So what's it all for? What is the feeling that both of these patterns, the old one and the new one, are so perfectly designed to help me escape? It's this question right here. This is the core fear. The absolute discomfort of having to commit to a decision without all the information and trusting my own judgment enough to accept the risk of being wrong. And this is maybe the hardest part of this entire process for me to admit. Just seeing the pattern, being able to name it, even being able to break it down and explain it like this, that doesn't automatically fix it. This series is a documentary. It's not a self-help guide. And I have to be completely honest with you, this is day 18. I'm documenting. I'm not solving. Even after this whole deep dive, I caught myself falling right back into those research spirals yesterday. I am still doing the new pattern. And it's a profound reminder that awareness is just the first step. The gap between knowing what to do and actually doing it, man, it is wide. When it comes down to it, the AI mirror is just showing how incredibly sophisticated my own mind is at finding new ways to preserve its dysfunction, Different questions, but the exact same escape. It's humbling, really, to see how cleverly we protect ourselves, even when that protection is the very thing keeping us stuck. So I'll just leave you with this question. My AI chat log, that's my data mirror. What's yours? Maybe it's your calendar, your screen time report, your bank statement, your emails. What is the one truth that your data would tell you about your own patterns if you were brave enough to actually look?